Hey, greetings again. Yes, Rich checking in here. I have other things to do with my life here and things, but sometimes I stumble across stuff here, and this is an old news item. And I'm not sure, this is just a reaction I have to, and it's found a big week. But I'm speaking in the evangelical witness about Jesus type thing here. This whole entire brouhaha that I saw, well, actually, Trump's campaign's all brouhaha. But there's something I am really pretty much annoyed by here. I don't see going on, etc. What you have going on with everything. And a Trump campaign and all that, the Trump presidency, is there's this void with Trump and around him. How much is enough? That you need the press and people with political agendas. You actually tip your hat off and acknowledge how big your crowd is. How big of a hole in the soul is there? You have Ecclesiastes, vanity of vanities, all is vanity. You go down this power trip, president, and you're never, ever satisfied. You need the media and individuals who are opposed to every single thing you stand for to say it's right. And now you're having the staff and everything else getting demoralized because of a president who didn't win the majority of the vote in the United States, and having to do conspiracy theories to say why he did. He won the election, and even winning the popular vote has to be an issue. And then it's crowd size, and it's something else here. And then you're complaining that your staff is demoralized. You coming out here, you're a spokesperson. Spicer is a spokesperson for Donald Trump. And then you have to go across and complain the media does not tipping the hat and worshiping the ground on. How empty of a hole in the soul is there? How empty? I will post a link to this time. Watch this video. I just found some video, CNN. Put it this way. Want to know how skewed this is here? This is going to be read. I pulled CNN, so obviously I must have media bias or something else because I don't understand and respect the glory of Trump. Because I don't. That means I'm biased. And apparently you demoralize the supporters. Here's the reality of the political thing. You need to have a tough skin. You have to go across. This is one of the things you end up like former President Bush, Junior Bush, I'm talking about. You end up developing an increased respect for the character, a certain degree of character he had for it, in that he just didn't care. You look at this here. How big is this hole in his soul? That you now need to get people to kudos and worship the ground and say nice things. You need the media that goes across and analyzes things, doesn't like Ford. And if you come out and these people are saying they're seeing things different, and you're telling them they're wrong. And you have things like this of Bannon goes across and saying the press is the enemy. They're the opposition party. And you do that there. And you go off on people, and you accuse them, and you're vicious, and you start doing things here, and you threaten the Cora, and you threaten to sue the First Amendment. You threaten to say that I'm going to make lawsuits easier against this thing here, and you attack the media. In addition to the partisan stuff, and you want them to be nice to you, and you complain and you say it's demoralizing because people don't see your glory, that how much of a big thing you won, and all this, that entire talk. If you watch this video here about this thing, and he won things, and they told him he couldn't do it, and they told him he couldn't do that, and they told him he couldn't do it, and he kept going, and it gets demoralizing. The one most person is demoralized of that is Donald Trump. It has to be. Who else is talking about this here? And how much he sacrificed and gave up because he put away his business? It's like a codependent relationship you have here. You're caught up in the ego. You're invested. And now your ego's, here's something else here. If it's not Trump, it's you. What does this say about you? That when your fearless leader or something else is repeatedly attacked by a political opposition over and over again, and you get demoralized by it? The fact that the critics say no, and he goes and overcomes it, and does it, and then come out with a no one, you find that demoralizing? The fact that he chose doubters no? If you're doing this thing here, why are you that invested in it? I want to give one reason why I think you're invested in this. You have ego and you lust for power, and you see the person's power there. And you've invested so much yourself in here that the person you invested in can't be wrong. Well, you're wrong. You talk about a hole in the soul, you got a hole in the soul here. And in an evangelical sense, we'll talk about needing Jesus. You need Jesus. You need something. If you got that big of a hole in your soul that your fearless leader gets attacked by opposition that's pointing out stuff and doing it here, yeah, people are critical because you're that much. And what that does here is it bothers you that much that you're demoralized. And you're demoralized. You need Jesus. In that evangelical sense, you need something. You have a void in your life. You have a void in your life. Go watch this entire thing here. I'll post a link below in the description. Watch it. Trump needs Jesus. Something needs Jesus. You'll witness of the thing. How much is ever enough? That you mocked at the press thing, so you decide you're going to run for president. When you're a young man in college and they say you can't be anybody else, and the world keeps telling you no. You understand this whole power thing? It is never, ever, ever enough. Never enough. There's too much in the world here. And to think that you got an entire world love you, you need the entire world to love you. You need that. How much does he, how much of a void in the soul do you have here? If he's going to need 95% of the African American to vote and wins that there, I thought of doing a channel here of God Emperor Trump and the religion and something else here about this, his coming values. And he's got to bring America together, and people that are never going to come together because you fundamentally are opposed to every single thing they stand for. And that's there. And what you do here, let me give you one dialogue with this with a Trump supporter I had on Facebook, and they're listed here. I'm not censorship, but it's my own personal life. Got into the conversation with this person here, through somebody else he's posting, and I try to explain something else here. That person degenerated into personal attacks against me. Said somebody else like this, how's that Filipino whore doing with those guys he's sleeping in a truck? And went off with that there. And this is a person after years later begged to be on my friends list if someone else trying to make it up, and then goes off like that. I told him, and says, you asked me for that here, and then he gives me bleepity bleepity bleep, call me a libtard and everything else. How big is the hole in your soul that you go there? How big is the hole in your soul that you go there? I was going to do Trump Needs Jesus. I will think about a different title and put it down here because this is bigger than this. How deep is a hole in your soul that you have to elevate a man to an extent that you put a big banner up and everything else and do this thing and think he's going to make all the difference in the world? That you need this person. You're so invested. How deep is the hole in your soul? How deep is the hole in Trump's soul? How deep is the hole in everybody's souls here? You can't let the thing roll off. I swear, somebody who has to run president is relatively decent. You totally ignore your critics. We have Trump, who's so insecure here, he does this. But how deep is the hole in the soul? I'll admit I have a hole in my soul here. I have certain issues I'm dealing with. I'm challenged, and it really does it. But something's never enough. With Trump, it was never enough to try to make money outside of Manhattan. He had to go make money. He has to put his name on everything else. It's like Ecclesiastes, chasing after one thing and another. When is it ever enough? When is it ever enough? When is it ever enough for anybody? When is it ever enough for you? The hole in the soul. Hole in the soul. You have to be the center of attention in the world, and you have to do things. You have to hope a media that doesn't disagree that you attack actually is going to say nice things about you. You're going to berate somebody else till they see sense to it? These are words, these are tweets, everything else. I mean, you look at what happens to a Democratic president, and you look at Breitbart and all these other guys here in the media. If you're on the left-wing side, from Clinton, everything else, conspiracies of Clinton killing people, yeah, go ahead and say that thing here. All the stuff against Hillary Clinton and stuff, Obama, everything else here. Bush gets in power and they create Bush derangement syndrome. This is hardball. And to complain that you're getting demoralized because they don't represent historicalness of it. You want to worship how great it is. Since when is it the job of the world to give you kudos and fill that hole in your soul? In my soul. Whose job is that? Yours, mine? Whose is it? Who fills that hole in your soul? And you get on with your life. I certainly politically have seen a lot of failures and everything else personally, and backing third-party candidates and all that. I've certainly seen the train wreck of Occupy. I've seen enough of this here. You eventually, in this repeated failure over and over again, you eventually have to find peace somewhere. And it can't depend upon the praise and adoration of people. Go read Ecclesiastes about chasing the wind. On that note, I'm going to be wrapping up here. So, I'm signing out. Think about that, the hole in your soul. I'm thinking of making it more general. Started off in that way because, I mean, I really went off on this here. I'm not going to be doing therapy for political guys that are a lot better off than me. Kind of remind me of Emma Watson's he for she, and now I'm supposed to join this campaign. All these activist people here. All this other stuff here in these groups. There's people who have voids of meaning in their life, and they will capitalize on it and suck you in. And as the big movement goes forth, you think you're part of it. You think you're part of this great thing. And that big void, that big emptiness of existence, you think you're filling it. Chasing after one thing for another. You think it's power. You think if I just have enough power. You think if I just have that one more thing, that thing's going to fill in. Again, it's an evangelical sense. You need Jesus. So, we all do. And I'm just going to close up with Trump, and I may mention before here. Just really bothered me with his Christianity, and I will go on record with this here of saying else he doesn't even turn to God for his own righteousness. It's not something he brings up with God. And of which that I'd like to know, what does that have to do with God? Just simple enough, and you're going to placate because he whispers in your ear? Anyhow, the hole in the soul. How big is it? How big is it? Chasing after to win all these projects and everything. How big is that hole in the soul? That you get demoralized because there's a media and people don't like you and cover it. Whether you say it's biased, whether you say it's facts, everything else. You do things here like the immigration ban. You tick off a lot of people. Yeah, guys doing it, you tick them off, and they turn on you. They're going to. Or they'll cover it. Or the media is a tool that guys use to do it. I mean, Trump used it for billions of dollars in coverage, one thing after another. Now you want guys to cover right and everything else? Now we're in a partisan area. But if this is going to bother you, ask about that hole in your soul, that big void you have there. You fill with one thing or another. The Ecclesiastes talking about chasing the wind. Okay? I'm out. This went on longer than I did. I really got to get a life. I got to get out of here. So it's amazing I don't get 8 hours sleep at night. So I'm out. Make of this what you will. I probably might get 15 views. I don't know. I'm doing other things, so that's it. Okay, I'm out. Good night, everybody. Bye.